Now, I want to talk to you guys about a lie that I was told in my childhood. I was told that Moxahala, or Moxahala, however you pronounce it, cemetery, which is where we are, which lies along Moxahala Avenue, was named after an Indian chief, Chief Moxahala, who was buried in this very cemetery with his horse. The headstone up there that lists everybody that's buried here makes no mention of a Chief Moxahala or his horse being here. So I would say that I was told a lie in my childhood, and that's okay. I like to separate history from legend. It's a lot of fun. But as I'm walking around the cemetery here, like I said, most of these aren't readable. Oh, hey, just in time. We got somebody trying to mow. I'm going to turn off the camera. As promised, I've been doing my research diligently. I had someone tell me when I was a kid that Moxahala was named after an Indian chief who lived in what is today Zanesville, but had been previously the Putnam area. He was there when the first white settlers came, so they named part of the area after him, and that doesn't seem to be true. In my research, and I'll read it to you, this comes from an 1883 book whose title I just lost. But Moxahala, or Hala, depending on how you want to pronounce it, was named by the Indians. The name signifies in Indian language elk's horn. The Aborigines had followed it from the Muskingum River to its forks and up both of them to their source, no doubt, and thus learned that the creek and branches resembled an elk's horn. The creek, especially the northern branch, has also received the name of Jonathan's Creek, and this name is accounted for in this way. The late Reverend Cornelius Springer of Muskingum County relates that in his young days he conversed with men who related that they were on a hunting expedition in what is now Licking and Muskingum counties about the year 1792. The name of one of the hunters was Jonathan Evans. The hunters separated during the day and returned to their camp at night. One evening, Evans was missing and could nowhere be found when night set in. The search for him was continued the following day, and he was at last discovered encamped on a high hill near the north bank of the Moxahala, however, not far from where it flows into the Muskingum. Reverend Springer says that from this circumstance the stream became known as Jonathan's or Evans Creek. Today we call it Jonathan's Creek. I've heard people call it Piss Creek because the water's kind of green. Anyway, there is another story as to the origin of the name, which tradition or legend has been duly celebrated by the poet Charles Edgar Spencer of Somerset, Ohio, in his Legend of the Moxahala, published by the house of J.B. Lippincott and Company, Philadelphia. Spencer's story in brief is this. A man whose Christian name was Jonathan was born and bred in the East. He wooed and won a beautiful and winsome maiden, whom he made his wife. Jonathan was brought up by a Christian and was a farmer, hunter, fisherman, and much of a lover. He built a cottage near the shore of Otsego Lake, to which he took his wife, and there they lived and loved, and their children were born. One night Jonathan was attacked by an overwhelming Indian force. His wife and children were butchered, his cottage burned, himself badly wounded and left for dead. But the sharp blade of the tomahawk had not penetrated deep enough to accomplish its deadly mission. After Jonathan had regained his health and strength, which required a long while, with an awful vow he turned his face to the west, made a long journey, stopping at last on the northern branch of the Moxahala in what is now Madison Township, Perry County, Ohio. There he sought out the rockiest, wildest place he could find, and built a rude hut near a cavern of rocks. Here, with only his gun and a faithful dog, he made his permanent abode. His mission was to slay all the Indians he could, for this was the wretched man's strange vow. He wreaked his vengeance, and scores of Indians fell beneath his rifle's unerring aim, but Jonathan could not forever conceal himself, and at last his red enemies hunted and tracked him and to his labyrinthian abode. Let the poet, in his own words, relate the story of... That's really long. Yeah, I'm not going to read all that. Okay. I will somehow link this at the end of the video so that you guys can read it for yourself. But this actually has the poem of which I was just relating part of, and it's... yeah. Oh, it's in an older... Anyway, so there we have it. There was never any Chief Moxahala that I can find. The name is actually the name of the creek which flows into the Muskingum River, and I did know that. I've been to Moxahala Creek before. There's a town called Moxahala or Hala, which for a history project for another day. There's used to be an amusement park there. I don't know what's left of it, but that's it for now. In another video, not this one, because this one's already long enough, I'm going to look at who the Reverend Manning Putnam, Nancy Putnam, and the unidentified infant daughter Putnam that we just saw over at Moxahala Cemetery were. Again, project for another day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.